As if a legal paladin arriving after the FTX crypto trading scandal served as a terrific narrative driver to portray all crypto traders as nefarious and in need of government chains, Senator Elizabeth Warren, the Democrat from Massachusetts, on December 14th introduced a ready-made bill to regulate anonymous, non-government digital currency that she is known to despise. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC-TV. Here's the story. Liz Warren. She's given this wonderful bill the noble title of Digital Asset Anti-Money Laundering Act of 2022. She's pumped it out following the well-publicized fall of FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF, whatever. And that fall itself has come after a strange, years-long promotion by pop media and among leftists in D.C. who depicted him as a heroic, altruistic entrepreneur. Heck, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, the Democrat of California, even blew him a kiss after they met. Of course, it appears as if a large portion of SBF's unbalanced FTX ledger was funded via the U.S. subsidized government of Ukraine. And that ended up facilitating Sammy's $40 million in campaign contributions to Democrats, making him the second biggest donor to the Dems in the 2021-2022 cycle, behind the all-enlightened George Soros and ahead of Michael Ban the Guns Bloomberg. And it does seem odd that once the election was over, FTX suddenly got exposed for all this alleged fraud. Well, the Gray Zone's Kit Clarenberg has done an excellent job condensing what we know about the collapse. Quote, FTX's destruction resulted from a mass sell-off of the company's native Bitcoin token, FTT, by the rival exchange, Binance. Its value plummeted, prompting a 3-day run on billions of dollars worth of cryptocurrency, which in turn created or exposed a liquidity crisis within FTX, as it did not have the available assets required to redeem client withdrawals. FTX filed for bankruptcy on November 11th. This, by the way, was precisely what should have happened to the Federal Reserve when it was exposed in the late 60s during the end of the so-called tie to gold. Like FTX, the Fed banks didn't have anywhere near the real gold assets they claimed for the number of notes that they had released over the years. But in 1971, Richard Nixon kept the scam going by negotiating with OPEC nations to tie the Federal Reserve note, erroneously called the dollar, to oil sales in the Middle East, allowing the Fed to continue the money-printing government funding scheme and inflate the currency on average 2.5% compounded each year. And now that SBF has been arrested and FTX is being used as a purported example of why crypto needs the lily-white hands of people like Liz Warren to control it, her bill somehow, almost spontaneously, appears to rescue us all. Co-sponsored by Senator Roger Marshall, Republican of Kansas, the Digital Asset Anti-Money Laundering Act of 2022 might launch a lot of proverbial red flags for people, not merely for how it portrays cryptocurrency and its users as a threat to national security, but for how it extends the cancerous and fallacious notion that the federal government has any appropriate role in controlling the money we choose to use or the trades we peacefully make in anything. First, get this. The bill will label as a money service business anyone who simply owns a private crypto wallet to store his digital currency. And with that designation comes a requirement that, quote from the bill, Not later than 120 days after the date of enactment of this act, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, shall promulgate a rule that requires United States persons engaged in a transaction with a value greater than $10,000 in digital assets through one or more accounts outside of the United States to file a report described in Section 1010.350 of Title 31 Code of Federal Regulations. And since the nature of crypto is that it is supposed to be anonymous and decentralized, passing through any number of exchanges worldwide, it's likely that anyone in the U.S. making a transfer of that amount will feel compelled to report it to the feds. And it gets even more pervasive and invasive, completely stymieing one of the major appeals of cryptocurrency: privacy. Warren's bill will require any person operating a digital currency kiosk, which operates like a digital crypto ATM, to register with the feds, then re-register the physical address of the kiosk every 3 months. And it will require the owner of the kiosk to register every single user when he or she makes a transaction. Warren's bill tells FinCEN that no later than a year after the passage of the bill, FinCEN will draw up commands, quote, requiring digital asset kiosk owners and administrators to 1. Verify the identity of each customer using a valid form of government-issued identification or other documentary method as determined by the Secretary of the Treasury, and 2. Collect the name, date of birth, physical address, and phone number of each counterparty to the transaction. What a shock. And Warren's bill makes it virtually impossible for banks to translate crypto of any kind into those wondrous Federal Reserve notes they keep creating and making less and less valuable every year. It states, quote, the Secretary of the Treasury shall promulgate a rule that prohibits financial institutions from handling, using, or transacting business with digital asset mixers, privacy coins, and other anonymity-enhancing technologies. Yeah, what a surprise, huh? Warren wants to destroy any means of exchange that might actually circumvent snooping, money-hungry Uncle Sam and the unstable U.S. Federal Reserve note. Indeed, as I wrote for MRC-TV in April, Warren is hell-bent on imposing on Americans a central bank digital currency, CBDC, that will strip everyone of their anonymity. It will give the federal government the power to shut down our ability to enter into private market exchanges, and will give the government the power to incentivize use of the CBDC on government-preferred investments and purchases. And it even will allow the government to regionalize or time kill the use of this new digital currency. Real crypto is a threat to that kind of technocratic system, and as she has exhibited with previous work writing regulations and legalese for the U.S. economy, that, of course, as a lawyer, she soon helped paying customers navigate. And you can read Peter Schweitzer's book, Profiles in Corruption, for a detailed look at Warren's behavior in that field. Warren's motives here appear quite transparent to anyone who pays attention to what is going on. Moreover, the deeper problem of people assuming that the federal government has any place regulating our cash or investments is most clear. And it has been for a long time, as long as U.S. politicians like the corrupt Alexander Hamilton pushed central banking onto the people, and as long as D.C. politicians claimed that they could regulate anything going over state borders. These big underlying assumptions feed Warren's thirst for power, and this particular bill is a scion of those erroneous beliefs. They're beliefs in what clearly are unsanctioned federal power grabs. And we're seeing another attempt right now. Well, we'll see whether people fight it. Thank you for listening and paying attention, and please spread this video to friends. Get the opportunity, join us at Rumble. Open up a tab, head over to Rumble and subscribe there. It is, of course, free and they don't censor us. Hit the little plus button underneath the video and that pushes us up in the algorithms. We're still on YouTube. Occasionally they censor us there. We'll see you in the comments section. Make sure you're still subscribed there. We'll see you in the Facebook page for MRC TV. And of course, we'll see you on TikTok and Twitter and Parler and Instagram. And on Twitter, I am at Gard Goldsmith, and on Gab, I'm at Gardner Goldsmith. And please visit MRCTV.org. And if you get the opportunity before the end of the year, donate to the Media Research Center. It's always great to know that people really appreciate the work that the whole team does. Thanks so much, everyone. For MRC TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.